All right. Goodness gracious. Oh, sorry. Boom, boom, boom. Is this thing on? All right. Looks like it is. That's good. And you can hear my chair. It's either my chair or my knees. Hello, Tommy. How are you today, my friend? I hope well. Hello, Chris. Good morning. How's that first cup of coffee? T Sentry. Hope you're still watching. Yep. Ken, I hope you're there. I know you are. Yeah. So this is going to be an interesting little show. Yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see. Trying to do a lot of things here. And you know what happens when you try to do a lot of things. You don't do them all well. So that is a bit of an issue. So we'll see. So yeah, Windows 11. Windows 11. Windows 11. You remember when you were 11 years old? You weren't a kid anymore. You were almost a pre-teenager. 11 years old, almost a pre-teenager. You were your second year into double digits. And was there ever really a Windows 1? Think about that for a second. And where does Windows ME fit into that situation? Or Windows XP? I think my favorite was Windows 3.2. Go figure. My least favorite, Windows 8. Yeah. Windows 7 wasn't bad. Windows 7 was really solid. Windows 8 was a disaster. It's almost like when they went from 7 to 8 and now they're going from 10 to 11, did they not learn their lessons? The problem with 11 seems to be that it's just not fully cooked yet. They've introduced it, they've sent it out there, they've announced the end of Windows 10 as if to say you must use 11. Doesn't mean you must, but kind of gives everybody that impression. So yeah, we are not going to worry about all of that. We are not worried about that. No, sir. No, sir. All right, let's see. Randy's live. I'll set up do a baseball game at 4, checking in before it gets busy. Well, that could be dangerous either way. You could get so sucked into this show that you forget about yours, right? Not likely. Glad to have you, though. Good luck with the game. Yep. I've never done baseball. Never done baseball. I've always wanted to. I've done basketball. I've done football. I've done soccer. I haven't done hockey or lacrosse or any of those kind of minor sports. I've worked with people that have done swimming. I've worked with people that have done baseball. But I always thought baseball would be cool. Because, a lot of it can probably be done with fixed cameras or PTZs that would allow you to get a little bit of extra movement without having to do the whole camera guy thing. But, a PTZ out in center field, one at third base looking across to first base, one at first base looking across to third base, maybe one behind the plate. So that's 4. And then you've got a couple of manned cameras that can do the action. That would be cool, dude. Thousands of military computers. Huh. How about that? Well, if it does what it needs to do, why open it up to all that other stuff. I look like a Smurf. Oh dear. Hold on. Let's see if this is any better. Is that better? Yeah, Tommy, you know, I think there is some truth to that. You know, there's nothing like throwing it out in the field. I mean, vMix does the same thing. They call it a beta. And you get the beta out there and a bunch of people are using it and they're reporting, you know, bugs or unintended consequences to changes that you know, nobody anticipated. And with Windows, you know, there's even a larger base. So yeah, there you go. All right, so has the Smurf look lost a little? I did use a little blue here today, so maybe that's what it was. No, you don't. No, you don't. You just want to watch. You just want to watch. There we go. Thank you. The chair moved by itself. Tommy, that's not all. That's right. That's right. They ripen. Well, and that's the way you buy, at least that's the way we buy fruit a lot of times and other vegetables, is we expect that they're going to ripen here. But yeah, we're not participating in the ripening process. Oh my gosh. So we're going to see today. I guess we should start the show. We should start the show. We should start the show. We're going to start the show, of course, using the little pink key here. Well, so much for pressing the pink key. My apologies. It was just like the pink key here. There we go, right into the show. But it would be incomplete without mentioning that we've got this really cool X Keys XK80 that's outfit with all these custom keys, some of which I made, some of it which I was gifted. There's some really cool ones on there. Yep. And this is my cough sneeze button over here. It's a big one, and it's in the bottom right-hand corner so that I know where it is without even looking. It's that tactile feel, the muscle memory that tells me what buttons to hit in the right places. So there, yeah. So, I'm tongue-tied. Today's show is a little bit out of the ordinary, aren't they all? But still, today's show I was going to do a live update of Windows 10 to Windows 11. And as I thought about it last night and this morning, I realized I don't know how long that's going to take. And if it's like any other update, it's just like, you know, hurry up and wait. So I went ahead and did it this morning and I recorded it. So I'd like to play it back for you in just a second of my update of Windows 10. And this is on a test PC here in the studio. It's Windows 10. It's an i7 11700K CPU, 16 gigs of RAM, 250 main drive, 250 gig main drive, terabyte drive as a data drive, which of course wouldn't be used in this, but it's just something that it's our kind of our standard build. And I've upgraded it to Windows 11, and it's got vMix on it. It already had vMix on it from Windows 10. In fact, everything that we did our typical install on Windows 10 of all the software that we install. I think the only thing we didn't put on there was NDI tools. I forgot to put the 5.5 tools on there. And then we upgraded to Windows 11. Free upgrade, apparently. Actually, the system that we built, this test system, didn't even have a legal license to Windows 10 on it. It was, I hadn't activated a license yet. I wanted to see what was going to happen. I guess I need to activate the license one way or the other, whether I roll it back to Windows 10 or not. You've got 10 days to roll it back to Windows 10 if you don't like Windows 11. So yeah. So let me start out by playing the video, because the video I think is pretty cool. So let's get that up, queued up here. And it was 45 minutes from the moment I started this upgrade process until Windows 11 appeared, and I upgraded it to the latest, greatest, where it wouldn't take any upgrades. And at some points, the screen goes black. And basically what I've done is just taken a HDMI output from the PC. Didn't want to use NDI. I wanted to have a physical output from the PC to a physical input on this PC, so that whatever that PC was showing on the screen, hopefully it would show up on the connection here. And for the most part, it does. So let me get this guy. Oh, the other is I took it from 45 minutes and I smashed it down to about 4 minutes. So it's going to run real quickly at the beginning, and then it's going to appear to run more slowly. So let's see. Let's get this guy going here. There we go. We'll get that off, and we'll get the video started. And the video. Well, let's restart it. There we go. And it's moving more slowly here, but it really looks fast. Should we upgrade to Windows 11? Yeah, let's do it. We'll press the blue button, and that's going to get us right there. We're going to accept the license, and now the process starts. And so I'm going to shift this back to 100% speed, which is really 1,000% speed. And we're going to see that we're in a downloading phase here. Downloading 8%. Let's see if we can't speed up this video a little bit here. We're up to 12%. Let's jump it forward in time. 14, 20. There we go. Now we're moving. And once it finishes downloads, this is like a typical Windows update at this point. Once it finishes downloading, it begins to install. But this is the only thing that's downloaded, just this one file, or one whatever it is. Yeah. So we're down at 100%, and now we're going to install. And installing. Keep in mind, this is probably 20 times normal speed. It's not going to happen this fast for you. And again, this is on a second PC. We're just kind of looking into it, looking over its shoulder, as it were, on an HDMI output from that PC to this PC, so that we can see what's going on. We're up to 80% now on the install, and 94%, 95%, or is that 85? It's hard to see that little small text there. There, now we're in the 90s. And I'm getting a little nervous at this point. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner of that window that we're getting a notice to activate Windows, because I didn't activate. Okay, now the updates are underway, 100% complete. And we're going to go back to just 100% speed, which is, again, this is not really the way it happened. Didn't go this fast, went much, much more slowly. And there were a lot of times when the screen would be black on the PC for 30 seconds, maybe 45, and made me think, oh my gosh, something has happened. Um, and then it would restart and keep moving. This is one of those times where it's actually black on the PC. For some reason, it showed a white screen on the second monitor cable. And now we're at Windows 11. I can't see the original's monitor screen is black at this point. This one is giving a message wanting to know if I want to download Armory Crate, which I don't. And by the way, I wouldn't because it interferes with vMix. And so now we've got Windows 11. And now we're going to restart it. We're going to go to settings and we're going to check for updates again. And we had a few, and so we restarted. Now we're going to check for updates again. We don't have any. And we're just checking through to see kind of what's there. And yeah. Sorry about that. I need to turn this phone off. There we go. And so that's it. That is it. We are done. We have upgraded to Windows 11. And I have loaded onto that PC vMix, put in a license for, vMix was already there, put in a license for vMix. And let's see if we can't see. This is what the remote PC is. It's running, well, this is a Windows multi-view. And here is it's a vMix multi-view, sorry. And there is the vMix on the remote PC. And just to make it easier for me, I have loaded TeamViewer on it and on my PC. And so I'm going to operate that PC, even though it's just behind me here. I'm going to operate it as if I was somewhere else. And I've just loaded 3 NDI cameras, a microphone, a local microphone, and then 4 pictures there just to have something to play with. And we go in and we look here. Let's just look at some of the basic settings. The outputs, you can see the NDIs that I've enabled, but nothing unusual there. The options, generally with options, let's see, I would take off quick play and I would put on production clocks. And I think I would probably take off the confirmation for record external stream multi-quarter. Performance, it's got a 2070. I just threw whatever card I could easily put in it. So that doesn't have, I don't think it's got enough RAM. It might have, but anyway, we're not going to worry about it for right now. External output, we don't have any cards there. Audio, I generally almost always disable the automatically mix audio because a lot of folks don't know what to do with that. And I generally take these guys and make everything none. And then if somebody needs it, they can get it because they intend to get it instead of having it by accident, not knowing what it is. Yeah, and so we'll do that and we'll restart vMix. And so vMix will restart very quickly because there are only a few inputs in it. And we can see that it's pretty much, good old regular vMix. All our inputs are here as we would expect them to be. We can go to NDI and see, some NDI sources here. We don't have any camera capture cards hooked up to it, so there's nothing to see there. Audio-wise, we've already got one audio input, and it's coming from a line in. I've got a Behringer 502 mixer connected to this with a microphone connected to it, so I could verify that we were getting audio. Haven't tried headphones yet. Let's see what else. Yeah, Oh, I know. I was gonna do a vMix call. Let's do a vMix call from PC to PC, and we'll connect to call. So let's go ahead and copy this password here, and we'll put it into my PC over here. And this is Tom. And yeah, so let's get that one going. And then we'll get this one going. And this is the call Tom, which should populate. There we go. Populates with the output. So what you are seeing now, what you are seeing is you are seeing the desktop of the second PC running Windows 11. And I've just brought it in via HDMI. So this is like it was a second monitor on that machine. And I think I'm just like duplicating monitors, so I don't have an extended display set up. And then I'm also operating this remotely, even though it's just behind me. So we've got, let's see, let's do some different kind of inputs here. You know, everything seems to work just fine. I haven't tried streaming or recording yet. We could try a recording. Do we have recording set up? Looks like it is set up. Yeah, we'll set up. So let's go ahead and make a recording. We've got audio line in. You can see the line in moving because the microphone is back there by that computer, but it's just enough to be heard. CPU, vMix is using 1%, total of 1%. We're not really stressing in any way. Let's look at Task Manager and see what Task Manager shows us. Now that is interesting. There's a big difference right there. See that CPU number, 32% CPU? vMix says that it's only using 2 or 1%. That's interesting right there. So somebody can't be trusted in this particular circumstance. And Windows 11 says that vMix, all 4 instances of it, are using a total of 14 to 16% CPU, whereas down here in the vMix stats, vMix says it's using 1%. So somebody's got their pants on fire. Yeah. Okay, so this is the remote PC. This is the Windows 11 PC upgraded from Windows 10. It also says we're using 36% of the network, which would be 160 megs. Well, I guess that's possible because of all the NDIs we're using. 2 of them I think are full NDI, so they would be, probably could be 60 each. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Let's look on the performance tab here. CPU says it's cruising along at 31%. I'm more inclined to believe that. Ethernet, here's the GPU. Let's pull that down a little bit there. At 40 or 50%. Down here, GPU memory, we're saying 18%. So I think the vMix stats are off. Let's look at the stats for vMix right here and see. Or we draw the vMix call is losing some frames. The P120 is losing a few frames. That's not too bad. Let's see. Let's bring that back up. Startup apps. What's enabled? The Blackmagic is enabled. Cortina is disabled. Video updater, that's Blackmagic, is enabled. Microsoft Edge is enabled. Teams is disabled. PhoneLink is disabled. Realtek is enabled. Security Health Systray is enabled, and Terminal is disabled. Don't think I changed any. I think this is just the way it popped up. Users, details, services. Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, yeah, now we're up to 40% CPU, but vMix says, no, we're not using that much. I think a lot of the CPU is being used by the NDI sources. So let's take a second. Let's make that guy a little smaller. We'll tuck him over here. We'll bring this guy out. Can we make him, let's go to performance, go to CPU, and make this guy a little smaller. And keep an eye on the utilization here. Now I'm just going to go into vMix and I'm just going to close out some things. So let's close out the vMix call. And that went from 38 to 28 to 21. So there was about 10-15% there. And then let's go to, we'll take out this full NDI camera. And it popped up for a second, and then it went back down to 27, 26. So minimal difference there. In vMix, you know, CPU is 0 for vMix and 1% for everything. Let's take out our other full NDI camera. And we go down to 22% right here in Windows, 19% in Windows. But again, vMix underreporting that. And then let's take out our other, and this is NDI-HX. So again, not a big difference there. Well, okay, about 9%. So HX using more CPU than NDI. We'll come back over to our network. And we can see the network really drop off when we got rid of our NDI cameras. Yep, now it adjusts to itself. So the network is not doing a whole lot. We're not asking it to do a whole lot. And the CPU spiked a little bit there when we disabled something. Yeah, and when we adjusted when we adjusted Task Manager, it spiked. But still, vMix says CPU 0, total 1%. So something is amiss there. Now, keeping in mind in all of this that vMix has not said that Windows 11 is endorsed by them in any way, shape, or form. They acknowledge that people are putting vMix on brand new PCs that are coming from the factory with Windows 11. And there's really nothing you can do about that. I guess you could go out and buy Windows 10 and you know, reinstall that if you needed to. But from my personal experience in dealing with tech support with folks that have got vMix problems or think they have vMix problems, and most of them have Windows problems, that Windows 11 on brand new equipment, I haven't seen near as many problems with that as I have with people that have upgraded from Windows 10 to Windows 11 and have then had a problem, which is why we were doing this today, to see if we could see, you know, what some of the problems might be. Now, we're not streaming and we're not taxing the PC in any way. We're not running replay. We're not doing multi-quarter. We did one vMix call and it, you know, it seemed to do okay. But it seems like, at least in my experience, it's the folks that upgrade from 10 to 11 that have had the issue. Now, I will say I've probably had half a dozen calls, well, maybe a third of my Windows 11 calls have been from people that didn't know when or why they had upgraded to Windows 11, but they found out that all of a sudden somehow they had, whether it was, you know, a nefarious upgrade in the dark of night by the gremlins at Microsoft, or whether it was just an accidental hitting that button and not really paying much attention to what you were upgrading to, except that it's taken a really long time. I mean, that the video that I played you a few minutes ago was 45 minutes in actual time. I think we shrank it down to 3 or 4 minutes. But yeah, so if you here's my, this is an incomplete word because again, this is a fresh install of Windows 11, not a fresh install, a fresh update to Windows 11, and I haven't done much with this PC. It hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities to malfunction, but I'm seriously considering updating this production PC to Windows 11, knowing that I can go backwards within 10 days to Windows 10, and seeing if it really makes any kind of difference so far as the production here, because this one, we're brutalizing this one routinely. I'm always swapping out new video cards, new capture cards, updating other software, adding new software. vMix is up to date as of today, 26.0.0.44, and we are running. Let's see. Let's go to this tab so we can find out. We're running 94 inputs. A lot of them are pictures or are titles that are just text. Probably 30 of those, maybe more. And then all the other things you have: audio, videos, and live cameras. So it would be interesting to see. And in fact, I'm looking at the well, let me see if I can just do a screen capture and show you instead of tell you. Let's do a local desktop capture. We're going to can we do it on display one? Is that it? Yeah, there we go. Okay. otherwise would. And that's okay. I mean, it's a 10-core processor. So that means we've got 20 different little processors out there. Yeah, did I turn my sound off again? I do that. My bad. Yeah, I set up some triggers before the show today, and I probably shouldn't have. Let's turn those triggers off. There we go. Yeah, I thought I was going to use the back studio or the back room back here to actually do it live, but I decided to use TeamViewer instead. So yeah, so we were discussing these guys right here, and looking at the fact that we're in a 4K 60 production with render times that are under 20 seconds, most of the time under 10. GPU memory at 100% because we're using resizable bar, and CPU, total CPU under 20, vMix CPU right at 10. And so yeah, Ed, I need expert advice. Audio will be the bane of my existence. And that was not a Windows 11 thing. That was a TS thing for sure. TS, not Windows 11. So based on the stat difference between what vMix says the CPU usage is and what Windows says the CPU usage is, Windows 11, I can say that I would not use Windows. I would not use Windows if I had any other choice. I would not use vMix on Windows 11 if I had a choice until I knew more. Let's put it that way. And that would be my advice to you. My advice to me is I can't wait to update this PC to Windows 11 and see what breaks, and see how it breaks, and see if we can't figure out why it broke and what we're going to do to fix it. So if you have had experiences with Windows 11, and I think a lot of people have had Windows 11 audio issues, I'd love to know what they are. Leave me a comment if you're watching this video after the fact. Go ahead and put it in the chat room, and we'll make it part of the post show as we talk about it. But it's things that I want to keep my eye out for. But I can definitely confirm. Well, I can't confirm because I didn't even know it existed. But I can definitely say that there is an incompatibility between Windows 11 and vMix so far as how they report CPU usage. Now, is that just an isolated little cookie crumb, or is that the tip of an iceberg? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, when you know. Until you know, you don't know. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but it is the truth, because we don't know if this is just a little teeny thing that could be fixed with rewriting a couple lines of code, or if it is a basic structural difference from Windows 10 to Windows 11 so far as how vMix talks to Windows 11 and gets information from Windows 11 to use in its production. We'll see. I think the guys at vMix will find this video interesting. I'm sure they find all of the Streaming Idiots shows interesting. Never mind. I won't even bother to say that. But I will say that it's going to be interesting. It's not going to be boring. We've got another challenge ahead, and perhaps another season of challenges as vMix tries to decode Windows 11 and figure out how to work with it. And meanwhile, it's a moving target because Microsoft is constantly tweaking Windows 11 to make it the OS that they want it to be. And I think they do want it to be a solid OS, really do. I don't think they want to have a piece of junk out there, because at some point, there becomes enough emphasis for somebody else to develop some sort of overlay to Linux or something like that makes it look like Windows 10. And somebody starts, writing drivers so that things will work with Windows 10 with Linux. And so suddenly Linux gets some get some traction where they may not have had traction before. So yeah, that's the ticket. Well, guys, let's move over to the post show, and I want to read your comments and see if we can't have a good discussion about this. By the way, if you've noticed this little flare right here, that little flare is a light in the. I had to turn around and make sure that's a light behind the green screen. So yeah, we'll make the green screen. We could make it not green, and you could see. So let's do that real quick. That would make me feel better to do that. In fact, let's see, can we find where that particular input is? That is me, the camera. Yeah, there it is right there. So that's without the backdrop. And you can see it's just a light. It's just a light. Don't get your panties in a wad, as they used to say. I'll turn off the chroma key. And you can see, yeah, there's a lot going behind the screen. So yeah, we'll be right back. All right. Who did invite Schrodinger? Schrodinger. Schrodinger? It was the cat. You know, the cat that's in the box? And he could be either alive or dead. But it's only when you open the box that you get to know. But prior to that, he could be alive or he could be dead. So in some ways, he's both or neither. Anyway, it's a how many angels on the head of a pin kind of discussion. Thank you, Marie. We appreciate that. Trying to elevate the conversation there. Meanwhile, Ed throws bombs from the back row. Makes fun of me because I just don't have a brain. Apparently, Ken doesn't have audio in California. And Tim doesn't have a low sound warning set up. Oh, you meant for me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So here's something that Rich mentioned about IPv4. And let's see. Do we still have that other PC available here? Yeah, we do. Let's bring that in. Remote PC. Yeah, there it is right there. All right, and let's just take a look. We're going to minimize vMix, and we're going to get rid of Task Manager for just a second. And let's go in and look at our network settings and our Ethernet settings and see kind of what we have here. Looks like we have an IPv4 address, but we also have an IPv6 address. Interesting. I think let me check on this current PC that I've got in front of me. Let's see. Yeah, that had an IP. Yeah, that had an IPv6 address too. So not much difference there. I wish I could show you these side by side. Okay. All right. So yeah. And who was it? I think it was Dr. Eagle I was talking to last week that was working with his bird dog P200s, and that somehow the network switched over, and I'm in the shallow end of the very deep pool here, so probably already over my head, but that somehow the network had switched over and was looking that his cameras had adopted a IPv6 address, and his network was looking for them at the IPv4 address. Anyway, it was a network issue. It wasn't a camera issue, and it certainly didn't have anything to do with vMix. And I don't know that he was on Windows 11, but yeah. Let's see what else we got here. 1 second. Try to get back where we were. There we go. There we go. So yeah. All right, so a client has 2 Razer laptops. Sounds like a joke. 2 Razer laptops walked into a bar. The client that constantly remind me to upgrade to Windows 11. Is there a way to schedule that to happen in 2024? I doubt it. I can't imagine there is. But let's see. Let's go back here for just a second. 1 second. Stay with me. Stay with me. Position. Reset all. Reset. Well, forget that. That's no help. I just want to get a desktop capture going again here. And we'll take this one. Okay, that's what's on the second screen for a second. Let's minimize that, get it out of the way. We'll minimize that, get it out of the way. We're kind of having an open screen here. And so let's go into this PC right here, and we'll just go into settings and look at the Windows update. And this is Windows 10. And we're not going to check for updates because vMix is running and it'll just bomb out. But at one point in time, there was a big blue window here. You saw that big blue window just a minute ago when we were running the video. And on that big blue window, we had the option to update. Let's see if I can scroll through and find it here. 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. Just hold on. 1 second. Boom. There we go. Okay. So that, video restarted. Didn't mean to do that. Can we go backwards a little bit? Scroll back. Scroll back. There we go. So that's the blue window that I was seeing a lot. And then I click, you can see the big blue button that's download and install, but to the right of that, it says stay on Windows 10 for now. And by doing that, I kind of put the Windows update to Windows 11 to bed for, I think, a couple of weeks. But if you're doing this for a client's PC, I have a feeling that, you're not going to be able to disable it to the point where they're not going to see it until next year. I mean, I wish that were the case. I just don't think that's going to be the case. They pushed a 2.2H2 cumulative update bundled with a Windows 11 upgrade. Oh, really? Bundled in with it? Well, the upgrade that I did today from Windows 10 to Windows 11 was a 22H2 upgrade. But it was clear to me because I pushed the blue button. It wasn't a sneaky update. Although I wouldn't put it past them to be sneaky because I think they want to get everybody on Windows 11 as soon as they can. Yep. Okay, and Rich is speaking a foreign language here. Run a tracer with and without IPv6 enabled to Facebook and YouTube RTMP URLs. Yeah, that was obviously not meant for me. I'm beginning to understand that Rich has found the source of at least one problem. Meanwhile, Jan is on a whole different level. His cat just ate his homework. Oh my gosh. Too much fun. Too much fun. All right, let's see what else we got back here in the past. Do you have IPv6 checked for the NIC you're connected to? Okay, that's interesting. Where would we find that, Rich? Let's see, let's go into network settings. And I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. Network settings, Ethernet, properties, IP assignment. No, that's not it. Don't have anything that can be checkable. Let's go back here and go to the adapter. Is that what we're looking for there? Looks like I've got everything checked except Microsoft Network Adapter Multiplexer Protocol. So I would say yes, Internet Protocol version 6 for me is checked. Is that a no-no? I don't know. You tell me. Jan says if you have IPv6 enabled, you will have at least 2 addresses. Right. A V4 and a V6. But what's the significance of that? So Ed and Rich are just having a little chat back and forth. Must be nice. Hello, Mike. Glad to have you. Don't do Windows 11. Don't upgrade any of your PCs to Windows 11. Don't let it be sneaky and sneak one under as it did on Rich. Because if it can fool Rich, it can fool anybody. I'm surprised it hadn't fooled me already. Holy cow. Yep. All right, let's go back and see what other things that we missed in the past. Yeah. We'll go back there. Now there's a comment that's worthy of posting again and again. And Tommy's just going to be sucking up to everybody. Oh, wedding day picture. Oh, all right. She tolerated my shenanigans far more than 24 years. I guess we dated for a couple of years, maybe a year and a half, something like that. Yep. All right, just getting around. Ray, if you're still here, thank you for the comment. Bought a new Asus computer with Windows 11 already installed, and then installed vMix 25. Why vMix 25? Why not vMix 26, the latest version? And have had no problems. That's good. Is it because of 25, you think? Or just that the Lord was blessing you? Eventually. Eventually they will. All right. Tommy has an NDI-HX camera that will not work anymore. He sees it on the vMix NDI page, but it's a blank screen. Does NDI-HX use an IP address? Yes, it does. We'll check. Let's see. So, Rich, are you suggesting unticking? Let's see if I can show it to you. Hold on. Unticking this? Where is it? Right there. Internet Protocol version 6, TCP IPv6. Untick it. Unticked. And it says in the descriptions that this TCP IP version 6, the latest version of the Internet Protocol that provides communications across diverse interconnected networks. Well, my guess would be that 90% of us or more do not have diverse interconnected networks. But I'm going to leave mine ticked for now until I update to Windows 11, and then we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that works. All right. And let's go back here. All right, Tommy has taken action. What are you afraid of happening, Tommy? Oh, it's because of the camera. Okay, I got you. Okay. Is Tom about to lose his idiot card? Something not fooling Tom. Everything fools me, Marie. At least at first. Okay, Ray says he doesn't have the money to upgrade to 26 right now. Ray, send me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, with your vMix license key, and I will upgrade you for free. This is good for you and you only. tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, Ray B. We'll get you there. Uncheck IPv4. Oh my gosh. Rich has gone on record. Oh, IPv6. I'm confused. All right, Tommy's going to have to go and check and report back later. Are you guys understanding what Jan's saying? Yeah, well, I was lying. It really did fool me. I just didn't want to admit it. So, how do you know if your router provides IP connection over IPv6? I mean, I can choke that router and it's just not going to give me that information. Tell me. Oh, Tommy, you have a low bar. Low bar. It's a low bar. What can we say? Yeah, the biggest difference, free will. We have to pay for it. Yeah. You guys are low bars. You got low bars. All right. So Rich and Tommy are on this discussion about IPv6 and that this can perhaps cause some issues. And I would like you guys to do your homework on this, write a 3-page report and have it available for me by next week so that I can grade it and send it back to you. And I will read the best paper on the air. How about that? Oh my gosh. Well, Marie, you could do what Sandy does. You can guess what that might be. Have you been under one? That's the key. When was the last time I was in a bar? If you can't remember, it's been a while. I know I was in a bar in Amsterdam in 2019. Was that the last time? All right, here we got some more advice. Another check for Tommy Willis. Make sure your camera's on the same subnet as your workstation. And in this case, Rich is using as an example 192.168.4, whereas my subnet here is 192.168.1. So make it apply to your case. Jan is going to write the paper. That's good. All right. Oh, so this is instead of the paper, he wants us to watch on YouTube IPv4, V6 101. Uh-huh. Oh, Tommy, I'm impressed. What is, never mind. Never mind. don't want to go there. Don't want to go there. All right, let's see. I'm going to pop back over to the other PC for a second. If I can find that connection. Yep, there it is. And let's tear ourselves away from that. We've had this on Windows 11 for, I don't know, a couple hours, maybe more than that, maybe 3 hours. And let's see if we've earned any updates yet. It last checked at 12:08 p.m. Not sure what that means. Oh, that's 8 after 12. Okay. And according to that, it's 3:58 p.m. even though it's only 2:58 here. So it looks like it thinks it's been about 4 hours since Windows was updated. Let's check and see. And we already have an update. A security intelligence update from Microsoft. Let's see if that changed anything. We'll do it again. Oh, this is a great story. I've got to tell this story. If this story is about you, I will not name you to keep you, to defend your honor. But one of the first things we do on a troubleshooting call is we get people to update Windows. And if I'm remoting in, then I'll do that. But if I'm not remoting in, then whoa, sorry, mid-afternoon yawn. If I'm not remoting in, then they're kind of on their own, and they have to do it and kind of tell me what it is they're doing while they're doing it. And so, because a lot of times a Windows update will fix whatever problem they're having, or it unblocks whatever's being blocked up, or however you want to put it. So I learned a long time ago in troubleshooting live streaming problems, number one, is Windows up to date? Number two, is a graphics driver up to date? Because that really does clear out about half of the issues that people have. That and a reboot. You know, those are my top three troubleshooting techniques. And before last week, my record for having consecutive Windows updates, that is, you know, one kind of behind the other. So you do an update and then you restart the PC and you check updates again. Oh, and there's another one. Well, my previous record was 7 until last week. That record got blown out of the water by somebody who had to update their PC 21 times to get it up to date. Windows 10. 21 times. It's amazing. Anything worked with anything, and that their system just wasn't riddled with viruses and worms and termites and stuff. Ugh. Anyway, 21 times. That was a new record for me. New record, 21 times. Holy cow. Thank you, Rich. I'd love to come see you, but I'll be on the road actually heading north tomorrow. All right, Samuel, good to hear from you, my friend. Only use IPv6 if you have special networking needs. Aha. Aha. Which most of us don't have. And Tommy, you are sharp as tacks. Oh, sorry. What is he talking about? He's like, it looks like a MAC address. Hmm. Yeah, it's called a brain transplant, Marie. That's not what Rich says. All right, boys and girls. I think we're going to have to close out this edition of The Idiots so that I can go back to work. And so that those of you overseas can have your bath and get your jammies on. And those of you on the West Coast here in the U.S. can go to lunch And the rest of us will just do our thing until next week. So next week, we will see about, we won't do it live on the show, but I will take into consideration updating this PC to Windows 11 and seeing what happens. Okay. The NVMe question. Do I need Gen 4 for vMix? No. Nope. You don't need it. You'll benefit by it, but you don't need it. Yep. Good question. NVMe is a solid state drive M.2 form. Gen 4, I think he's referring to the first PCIe slot on the motherboard. Excuse me. Well, yeah, the first PCIe slot and also the first M.2 slot. Some CPUs, I think i7 10 series and below don't do Gen 4. 11 and above do Gen 4. If I'm thinking correctly, somebody correct me otherwise. Yeah. The systems that we're building now, we're using i7 11 series and higher, specifically so we can get the Gen 4 on the M.2 NVMe. Sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I really don't. I really don't. It's just all of, it's a facade. There's a curtain behind me that makes you think you're looking at things you're not really looking at, right? Right. Ah, yes, I saw that the other day. I ordered a bunch of them. All right. Toodles, guys. Loved hanging out with you. Let's do it again sometime. What about next week? Yeah. Bye.